Welcome back to the Drummer Mindset, episode 2 with Jacob Coates. Jacob is an incredible drummer. He's been playing in this area with the band called Shorty Can't Eat Books for the past 15 years, and also was playing with Goldie and the Screamers and toured with them pretty extensively for a few years just before pandemic. All the songs that I've heard from both those bands have great energy, super tight songs, good groove, and just a lot of fun. And so I think that's one of the big things that I picked up from Jacob, and one of the things that's helped him get through if there were any blocks. He was able to just pivot, keep having fun playing the drums. But stay tuned for that conversation happening now. You got a really cool place.
Thanks.
I like this setup.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of practice down here?
Yeah, this is the jam spot. We've been, like I said, I've been here for 9 years almost, and been playing with a number of bands in Asheville for about 15. And so yeah, we practice down here about once a week, depending on the outfit. Or if we have a gig or whatever.
And this is in which band?
So right now, Shorty Can't Eat Books is my primary.
Is that a Belly reference?
It is a Belly reference, yeah, yeah. Nice. And then Goldie and the Screamers was my previous project that kind of just slowed down a whole lot during the pandemic. And then, kind of just pivoted to Shorty, which I've been playing with since college.
Okay, so this is your college band.
Yeah,
So,
2004 maybe. I
Okay,
think is when we started it.
And you went to, where did you go to school?
ASU.
App State.
App State.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
And then where were you before that?
Before ASU, I was in Raleigh.
Okay,
Grew up in Raleigh. Yeah.
Okay. When did you start playing the drums?
About 12 or 13 years old.
Okay.
Drum kit. Got my first drum kit then, but I started like concert band percussion, bells,
Yeah, so you
snare
got some
drum
bells over there.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yep, that's what they start you out on, the practice pad. I was in 3rd or 4th grade, I think, probably 4th grade, doing concert band.
How did you choose that one?
I was just talking to my friend about that yesterday or today. Like, I don't know how.
Okay.
I chose drums. I really don't. They like start kids out on recorder.
Sure.
Like Kinder music, and I knew I didn't want to do that. But
yeah, I don't
I
know
just
a
was
lot
drawn
of
to
folks that like continue that one.
I was
Maybe
just
one or
drawn
two.
to drums for some reason.
Sure.
And then I got my first drum kit in 7th grade, I believe. I was 12 or 13, and my dad just set it up and sat down and started playing this like surf rock beat, like.
So he played.
That's all he played. That's the only time I've ever seen him play drums.
Okay.
In my whole life.
So
it was the one time.
You just came home one day and he was setting it up.
It was a Christmas gift.
Nice. Okay.
And I guess that day or the next morning he set it up and just sat down and started playing a surf rock riff, and he was big into like, Beach Boys and shag music and that kind of stuff. And so I was blown away. I was like, man, Dad's got chops. All right, cool. But I've never seen him play since.
Does he play any other instruments?
No.
Okay, but he supported you.
Yeah.
In it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else in the family play?
My sister played piano
Uh-huh.
for some time, and she played violin.
Is she older or younger than you?
She's older than me, 2 years older. And then that's it. She never really played much after, probably not after high school. I don't think she played at all.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think I was the one that just kind of stuck with it the most.
Any bands through high school?
Yeah, so my first band started immediately in middle school with a band called Brimstone. A couple buddies of mine. I took enough lessons so that I could play for church, and we were like on a classic rock tear, all the Jimi Hendrix and the Doors and Led Zeppelin. We could never play any Led Zeppelin, but just just jamming, just jamming some old classic rock.
Yeah, loud.
Just covers loud,
Yeah.
just fun psychedelic stuff. And
At your house.
yeah.
What did your parents do? Like, were they into it? They didn't mind everyone coming over, making a ruckus?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were just happy to have everyone there.
They knew where you were.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I guess they were into it. They never really put up much of a fuss about the sound or whatever,
Nice.
the parties.
Okay.
And stuff.
And did you continue? So you started really more kind of formally, right, with percussion,
Yeah.
and then you got the kit, and then did you say that you continued lessons or in school?
Yeah, so I think I started like middle school, 8th grade jazz band, and continued that into high school.
Not a lot. Are there a lot of middle schools with jazz bands?
No,
Mhm.
no, there aren't. This one, I think it was like a GT magnet school, I
Okay.
think is what they called it, like gifted and talented magnet school. But it was
Mhm.
just a public school. I think they must have just had an opportunity or like the right music teacher to be like, hey, we're going to do a little jazz band.
Yeah.
So
I went to a
Miss
magnet
May,
school as
Mary
well.
May.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went to one of those through middle and in high school as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, when you said you played jazz band in middle school, I was like, there's not. There's got to be something going on there. That's
Yeah.
awesome, though, to have that experience.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to play with my current bandmate, Chandler Brewer. We were in middle school together.
Oh,
we
wow.
were in the middle school band together.
He lives here.
And he lives here. Yep.
And did he go to App State as well?
No,
Okay.
but lots of mutual friends from App State, and he would come visit, and he would come visit me after college out in Colorado when I lived there for a ski season,
Uh-huh.
and we kind of reconnected, and then I moved to Asheville, and then he followed me a couple years later, maybe a year later.
To start the band.
Uh-huh. And so he plays bass,
Okay.
but in middle school he played the tuba and trombone, and
He knows the bass.
he loves, he loves to tell that story, because me and my other bandmate Dan Hedinger, who I met in college, we started it with a gentleman named Eric Besselman on bass, and Eric and Chandler were best good pals.
Gotcha.
So it's just like these little circles of friends,
Yeah.
and then me and Dan kept playing together forever in Asheville, and we went through 12 different bassists until Chandler was like, well, I'm playing bass now.
Y'all were on the hunt.
Yeah, we had a bunch of different bassists to try and find this like magical trio, and then we just picked him up, and
Where did you find all
been
these
playing ever
bassists?
since. Craigslist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Craigslist, I think, or just word of mouth. Some old homies from college that traveled down from Asheville or from Boone,
Uh-huh.
kicked downhill and met us here and tried it a little bit, but it's just we couldn't have we never found anything super steady, I guess,
Right.
as you would call it. Yeah.
And it just because they weren't melding musically, or
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, or just didn't have the time for it,
Mhm.
or just we weren't just weren't gelling.
Yeah. The hunt for the band, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of its own. There can be the kind of the nature of. I don't know. Do you, as a drummer, sometimes it definitely feels like that's a part of it, right?
Yeah, it's got to be just right,
Mhm.
Yeah. I think we were just trying to find that sound that we had in college, because that was so good. It was just so good, that sound.
And what was that sound?
Just like bouncy, boppy,
Uh-huh.
teeny bop, like party rock, avant-garde a little
And
bit.
this is
Not really.
Shorty can't eat books. Okay.
Yeah. And it was just fun, like house party band
Uh-huh.
that played fun covers,
Uh-huh.
and
And did y'all gig around Boone as well? Other
Yeah,
than
oh, yeah.
parties or whatever?
Yeah. We played quite a bit. Played a number of venues there, bars mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Played the student union.
Mm-hmm.
Played
How was your experience in Boone?
It was just a hoot, man. It was just such a blast. Just being part of that party scene. Just having a good time, really. I mean, it was just all about meeting interesting folks and playing with other really talented musicians, like we're doing here, trying to like, link up with other bands as often as we can, different bands to try and see, I guess what kind of fits,
Yeah.
for a bill.
You kind of had like a family of bands that would kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, a little collective, I guess.
Yeah.
And just meeting new people, yeah.
Gotcha.
New sounds, seeing what's out there and seeing what people are doing really good, and just trying to run with it, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, let's go back a little bit, like maybe. And do you remember any frustrations as far as like learning percussion or the kit?
Yeah. I mean, starting out, I was definitely like rudiment heavy, focused on that. I think I went to like band camp, auditioned for state, and I don't think I got it. I definitely didn't get it. I would have known if I got it, but I think just like the technical aspect of drumming was lost on me. I did it, from elementary school to middle school and high school, and I think I tried out for marching band and didn't get it.
Okay.
Because of my rudiments, my technical ability wasn't that great, and so it did put a little damper on things. But that's when I kind of pivoted towards just learning by ear and just playing what I wanted to play, just like loud, hard, fast, almost like punk.
What? Yeah, I was gonna
like
say,
getting the lead out kind of music.
What were you listening to at the time?
Oh man, stupid.
And you had said
90s
earlier. You said
like
rock,
like 311.
Sure.
And like
Chad Sexton's
Everclear.
Incredible.
Yeah,
drummer.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Marching drummer.
Yeah,
too, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, those kinds of bands that the 90s were awesome for that kind of music, and just like angsty.
Sure.
Just like pent up rage and stuff, and so that kind of lent itself to me to find that avenue, that outlet to kind of just cut loose and not worry about focusing on the technical aspects of drumming, and just have fun with it and just play.
Yeah.
Which is still kind of where I'm at now. Is like I'm like a hobby drummer.
Okay.
I have a full-time job.
What do you do?
Not drumming.
Yeah.
I do gutter work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like installation?
Installation, repair, cleaning, that kind of stuff. So on ladders all day, on roofs. And
comfortable with heights?
Yeah, just totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Always have been. Was a big rock climber for years.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, living in Western Carolina, like you find a lot of folks that do construction and stuff like that. They also do a lot of climbing or whatever.
Right.
For sure. Yeah. A lot of teachers, paramedics, and stuff like that do outdoor adventure stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. And so how long have you been doing that?
Almost 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 5.5.
And so, so you identify as a hobby drummer?
I do, yeah. Like, people say like you're a drummer. It's like, no, I just play the drums.
Okay.
But it's my passion. It really is. Like if I had it my way, I would absolutely try and make it a career.
Let me ask you this: at what point is someone a drummer?
I don't know. I guess it's a personal thing. I think maybe they know in themselves within.
How would you define it for yourself?
I am a drummer. It's just like that was just kind of like a cute little punchline. Because I have a full-time job and I just play on the side,
Sure.
But I mean, technically, I have been playing professionally in Asheville for 15 years almost.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Like big, pretty big stages for quite a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's definitely just it's something you feel. It's something I've always felt. Like going back to elementary school, like I don't know how I picked it or why I picked it, but it's just like that's my instrument.
Just drawn to it.
Just for some reason, I just felt like a right thing.
I was having a conversation with someone else not long ago, and they were kind of struggling with the identity piece. And it was an interesting conversation because at one point they're saying, "Well, I don't want to be too tied to this identity."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think I understand that.
Yeah.
Like as a drummer,
Mm-hmm.
like that means a lot, and also like you're a drummer. Like, what do you spend your time doing and thinking about?
Right.
But I think also, like, I can understand too, like depending on what that identity means for someone, how like if you're the drummer and like you're running through some obstacles, or maybe you can't play this lick, or you don't get this gig, or whatever else, like it doesn't have to be all of who you are, right?
Right.
Like it's one thing to be a drummer and another thing to be the drummer, right? Like the first one on the call list.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. First one to arrive, last one to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I've kind of been like steadily working my way up the call list to, you know, just for drummer for hire, as it were to come naturally. Yes. But, I really enjoy those kind of random gigs that I can fill in on a whim.
Like someone just calls you up and say, hey, like, and so what does that typically look like?
I honestly don't feel like super confident in that. Whereas if I were to go sit down and play a huge gig with Shorty Can't Eat Books or Goldie and the Screamers, I'm like taking my shirt off. Like I'm ready to fucking do this. Like get on stage and blast a performance out of it, you know.
Those are your songs, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It sounds like, I mean, is that y'all's process in those bands is like collaborative or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we definitely, you know, have the really strong musicians in the group that are mega talented, and those folks, you know, they bring something to the table, they bring ideas, they bring songs, and then we kind of just arrange it, you know, hash it out. We bring our own ideas, and just flesh it out as it comes naturally, you know. We all just have something to add, and you know, it's a very democratic process. We try it every which way.
And do you come up with melodies as well?
Sometimes, but I didn't really get that opportunity until working with Karamia, who is an excellent like vocal coach and helped walk all of us through that process of being able to sync back up, like 4-part harmonies.
Oh wow!
For a lot of Goldie and the Screamer songs.
That's amazing.
And that was a big shift for me, being able to try and play drums and sing at the same time.
I've been told by other drummers that have played with her that, and with like Rom Squad, you know, that it's a really supportive band for a drummer.
Yeah.
You would agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's easy when you're playing with people who are just so talented. You know, they make it easy for you to play drums with them. But yeah, also sing too. It's yeah, definitely. We were gigging pretty hard there for maybe 5 years, 6 years, and then slowed down during the pandemic. But those years were really great as far as, you know, building up my I guess my, I don't know, third arm to try, you know, just to add something else to the mix.
Yeah. All right. And then, like, so the pandemic, obviously, like we've kind of hinged on, or you know, mentioned that a couple of times, and obviously it's there for all of us, and it affected us in different ways. Like, how did you manage it?
I occupied myself with projects. I love woodworking. I love restoration. I like just fabricating and building. But that drum kit over there is my very first drum kit that I ever owned. That's a Tama Swing Star.
Oh, wow.
That's the one I got when I was in middle school.
Oh, your dad riffed on.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And that kit has been through so many different iterations of shell wrappings and coverings.
That you've done.
That I've done myself.
Interesting.
And just finally just took it down to the bare wood.
Okay.
And stained it and polyed. And I was like, all right, this is good. You know, I've powder coated all the hardware as much as I can.
And you just kind of learned on your own how to do
that?
Just YouTube and
yeah, just my father's like a master carpenter, so I've grown up with tools in my hands.
Gotcha.
He made this snare drum right here.
No way.
Yeah. That's a staved custom Michael Coates right there.
That's cool.
And
and what kind of hardware did y'all find for
that? Just some like random brass tube lugs. And I don't know the make, honestly.
It's beautiful.
Just went to like precisiondrum.com and just ordered a bunch of stuff that would fit, you know. And then just kind of customed the shit out of it.
What kind of wood did he use?
That's maple.
And
staved and turned on a lathe. And then I built a cajon during the pandemic. I built a steel tongue drum
Okay.
out of like a
So it's not just woodworking.
kerosene or propane tank, you
Wow.
know. Yeah. Not just woodworking, yeah. I had a little help from Dan. He's a welder. I've got a kick drum over here that I'm building right now. It's a 20-inch maple shell.
Are you bending it, or are you finding?
No, that came just like as a naked shell, just a 5-ply shell
Okay.
through and through. All it is just the shell.
Uh-huh.
And I trimmed it down the depth to 15 inches from 16. And then I added reinforcement rings, and then I added a bearing edge, and then I'll be drilling holes for hardware next. And
Any specialized tools to building the drums, or are you just kind of making your woodworking like the typical woodworking tools?
it's like backyard kind of drum building, I guess.
This is off camera, but I mean, we've got. I'm seeing a lathe over there and a bandsaw.
Yeah, I don't use those a lot.
Okay.
I do get help from some friends with better tools.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And of course, I can go home and use, my dad's workshop whenever and just build anything down there.
How's that resourcefulness serve you as a drummer?
I
I mean,
guess
outside of the obvious,
yeah,
like you're building drums. Like,
yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah,
Right. Like if something goes wrong
right
on stage, like
certainly, yeah,
you could-
yeah. It's everything's fixable. I mean, everything. There's nothing that can't be broke and not fixed. So I don't know if that's double negatives or whatever, but
No,
there's
I
yeah,
follow.
there's
I follow.
nothing that So
Well, I think too, like one of the things I like to think about a lot too is the idea that the drum set, and there's a lot of argument about like where it was started and who developed it and all that kind of stuff. If it was in the U.S., and I've heard in Germany and all these kinds of things, but it's several instruments, right?
yeah,
So it's an innovation
sure,
that's relatively new compared to who else you would play with on stage. Like
Uh-huh.
you're talking about, like from the concert to the jazz to, your modern rock band or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it is, it's interesting. It's an innovation and somehow the only like remaining acoustic instrument a lot of times on stage, right?
yeah.
So
Well, yeah, that's a great point.
and so it's like they've looked like different things, always.
Yeah.
And people have their kits set up, and you might have like a typical one high tom, one low tom, snare, bass, and maybe a couple of cymbals, and that's kind of what you got set up here, right?
Yeah. It's gone through various different iterations, for sure. But I think as a kid, I definitely maxed it out.
Uh-huh.
As a kid, it was maxed out kit.
Right.
Like more cymbals than I knew what to do with, and it's slowly evolved, or I guess devolved, into a very simple kind of jazz kit, I guess.
Well,
I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know if you call that a jazz kit, but it's like
Sure, it looks like it's ready for
like
jazz to me.
just like a club kit, cafe.
It looks pretty versatile, I'd say, with a 22-inch kick.
Yeah,
would you say?
it sounds good. It booms. Yeah, for the most part. I've never been great at like tuning drums and getting the proper sound, because growing up I would just hit hard. I would just hit it hard.
Get the tone out.
I get it out.
Yeah.
I beat it out of it, and it wasn't until like in my, once I was like a legit adult, that I was like, I'm gonna buy myself a drum set. I'm gonna get a good one. And so, just researched everything I could about it, and was looking at shell thicknesses and like the tone of actual shell itself and the wood and material, and it just felt good to kind of feel like I grew up as a drummer a little bit by buying my own instrument for the first time
Totally.
forever. So
Absolutely.
there's a lot that goes with that.
Yeah. So it's evolved over time, and no doubt, as a gigging drummer, right? What's also easy to transport. but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You also learn at some point, I think, too, like you get plenty of voices from those drums there. Like
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got some melody to it. If you hit it with the right algorithm.
Yeah. And you've got a lot of instruments in here.
Yeah.
Is this a P bass here?
That is. Yeah, that's Chandler's.
So yeah, the drummer houses all this stuff.
Pretty
we were
much
just talking about
storage.
earlier.
Yeah, we got to have the storage.
You
for
got
it.
an organ in here.
Yeah.
It's off camera too.
It's a Lowry. This was free.
That's a piano.
And we picked that
Acoustic
up.
upright.
Yep. We picked that up off Craigslist and took everything off of it, just stripped it of all its wood, just to get it so it can reverb.
To build drums.
Just to build, yeah. Yeah.
So you're evolving the instrument.
Yeah,
Right.
being resourceful, right? Nothing goes unused. And
But
then,
you're just stripping it down just for
just
the
so
sound.
so it could sound a bit better down
Yeah.
here, you know, without having to mic it up, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I do play kind of loud sometimes, and so
Yeah,
it's good.
you've treated it really well. I can,
Yeah.
you know, the resourcefulness again, right?
Yeah, it's just carpet all around. I think this is like scrim from the theater I used to work for, and then just some random curtains and lights and shit. And
I think this is one of the things I appreciate you hosting me here for this, because I feel like there's so much more to explore here just in this space.
yeah,
But one of the things too is how a drummer treats the room.
sure,
It's like an extension of your drum kit. you know?
right, yeah. It's you got to make it feel like a home.
Yeah.
And you don't want to piss off the neighbors either. So it's that fine balance of having good sound within the space you're in, but also feeling comfortable with just not letting it bleed too much outside of your bubble.
Yeah. Being a good neighbor.
Yeah.
Any complaints from the neighbors?
No.
Okay.
No. When I first moved in, I went door to door and introduced myself and told them I was a drummer and I played in a band, and that they'd probably be hearing from me. And so occasionally I'll get people walking down the street, and they'll pull me aside and be like, "Hey man, I liked what you guys were doing in there the other night. That sounded great." I was like, "Oh, awesome, thank you."
Nice.
They're just out walking their dog and they can hear it on the street, and I'm like, I should probably soundproof a little better.
Sounds like it's positive feedback though.
Yeah, they liked it, so it's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that and run with it.
You typically good with compliments?
I'll take them. Yeah.
Okay, so you were telling me earlier too, like we were talking a little bit about pandemic, and you had those projects going on, but also like we just talked about, like you've got the keyboards,
Mhm.
electric piano, acoustic, organ.
Yeah.
It's like a legit church organ.
Yeah.
Obviously sans pipes, but
Yeah.
so and did you say you were learning how to play some other instruments?
Yeah, I picked up ukulele.
Okay.
Been fumbling around with that for about 3 years, 3.5 years. And that's, I've always have struggled with anything stringed. I've tried bass, tried guitar. I can't wrap my head or my fingers around any of that. But ukulele is just such a simple little, you learn a few chords and then, it's fun because I like to sing too. So I learned enough to be able to just, campfire tunes and stuff. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say, like lately, like we, early on we covered some of the struggles, I think, like you had said you'd tried out for regionals or maybe state or something, and maybe didn't get it.
Yeah.
But, and then, but just pivoted,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of found your way. Like it sounds like you knew, like this was your instrument regardless of what other people were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any other points throughout your drumming career that you just recall as being kind of a block for you to move through?
Oof. Goodness, that is a question. Yeah, I did. I mean, I would find myself, in a town like this with such super, super talented drummers and musicians everywhere. I think I would, as I was kind of slowly trying to integrate myself into the music community here, just kind of noticing how talented all the other drummers were that I was kind of comparing myself to, I guess. I definitely struggled with that a little bit because I knew I was never going to be at that echelon of drumming but
Was it like a technical ability that you saw in them, or?
Yeah, and just the fact that these people are playing professionally as a career almost. I think that they are career musicians, and they're gigging 6-7 nights a week sometimes, and that was my struggle, I guess. I was comparing myself to someone who that's their story,
Right.
and this is my story, and I need to step back and not really focus on the fact that they're so much better than me technically and gigging all the time. I think I was kind of hung up on the fact that, like, I wanted to gig more, I wanted to play more, I wanted to be out there, but everyone I was playing with also had full-time jobs and families,
Right.
and children, and weren't able to make those sacrifices that me as a single guy at the time was willing to do. And so I kind of just hung back and just kind of centered and just,
How did you center?
Man, honestly, carrying me just told me to just stop thinking about it. It's like, don't compare yourself to other people, because you're not other people. Why would you compare yourself? And that helped a lot. I think she kind of opened my eyes to the fact that, like, I'm not as good of a drummer as a lot of other drummers in town, but I am a good drummer, and that I have fun playing drums regardless, and I'm not, like, self-conscious about it anymore,
Yeah.
and don't be self-conscious about it,
It
because
was just kind of with that seed, just the idea like you're not them.
yeah, she just kind of just was like, fuck it, dude, no, why would you compare yourself to other people?
That's so interesting too. That comes from a vocalist, right? Because I think that's an excellent example of, like, your voice is your voice.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Like, everyone has their voice. Like, there's no, like, you can compare all day long about technicality and stuff, but there's also, like, some singers, that you absolutely love that don't have much range, but
Yeah.
it's just bared out there. And I don't know, like, I think drumming is also one of those, it's a very kind of, ingrained genetic thing for us as humans. Like, it's like one of the first instruments outside of the voice, right?
Right, absolutely, yeah.
So this idea that, and in so many ways too, like, I totally get what you're saying, like the competition as a drummer, because I felt it too, like throughout, like, still, even though, like, I still combat those ideas too, and try to think more about it as an art, and really there's no competition in art.
Yeah. It's left to the viewer or listener, yeah.
And it's interesting though, because, like, you two, like, there's competition to get the gig as jazz band one,
right? Like,
or in the
first chair.
Right, first chair, exactly. Or into regional or state or whatever it is, and it definitely applies that to it, but it's very much an institutional kind of mindset.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But you, I mean, even early on, like, you knew that. It's like, it didn't matter. You kept playing.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. Like, you were having fun with it. Other people were having fun with you.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I think it's a good thing to remember. Like, it can feel competitive, and especially, I don't know. What would you say? Like, what is the culture like of drummers in Asheville? You've been here playing for 15 years.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's a great culture. Nearly void of ego. Everyone is just, they understand their art, their craft, and they have fun doing it. And, you kind of have to be just kind of humble about it, in order to play with anybody. Because, if you're getting your drummer for hire, you have to be easy to work with and listen, and just kind of play along, if you want to get bumped up that call list, and it's a beautiful thing. Like, every person I've ever met that I've ever played with has been just so genuine, but also, like, so unique and such a character and such like a musician. You know, it's just like they wear art in their personality, and their creativity, and it's just it's a really special thing. Everyone is so just welcoming with open arms to invite and to collaborate and to you know community this town. Yeah,
That's awesome. Do you feel like it's a large community?
Compared to the size of the city, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is. And there are so many really, really talented musicians out there that aren't getting their voice heard enough. They're kind of like in the shadows a little bit more.
As drummers.
Drummers, yes. Yeah. I was kind of thinking about open folk there for a second because that's just such a really awesome thing that I have to plug a little bit. It's not me, but my bandmates do it, and it's just such a fantastic thing where I get to see people, singer-songwriters who are writing, creating that aren't typically on the stages around town that you would typically see. So it's a really unique opportunity for a lot of really talented people to have their voice heard.
You got to educate me a little bit more. Tell me more. What is this?
So open folk is they do it. It's for the locals. It's on Tuesday nights at Wicked Weed Funkatorium.
Okay.
In the back, and they're like event space back there. And it's it started in Argentina, and I believe they have a chapter in Spain or Portugal, and a chapter in Los Angeles, and maybe a few other places. But it's a listening room situation where there's rules. You know, it's like you can't talk at all during the performance. You get 3 songs. It has to be acoustic. The sound has to be amazing, and you have to be really good. And it's just a real special thing, and they fill up. They have butts and seats every Tuesday night.
Wow.
And it's a real special thing, yeah.
So it sounds like there's an application process or an audition process.
It's like an invite. It's an invite
gotcha.
thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just by word of mouth or friends of friends, just kind of dropping your name. Zach Suarez is the guy who puts that on. And just I think the week before last, he had Dan and Chandler play amongst 5 other acts, including the guy who started open folk from Argentina. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How long has that been going on here?
3 years.
Okay. We'll definitely check it out. I'll link to it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So you go there pretty regularly to check it out?
I try to. I usually go primarily when Dan and Chandler play.
I got you. So
Yeah.
they play a lot.
I think this was their 3rd or 4th time playing this past couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
When do y'all have any other projects going on or actively gigging or?
Right now we are not actively gigging. We are trying to write some new songs and record these songs before we start playing in the fall. I think September is what we're looking at to try to get back out there. Summer is just a rough time for Dan and Chandler with their families and travels, and they're pretty packed tight with their schedules. So I think we're gonna just keep it to the Wednesday night practices over here and flesh out these songs, get them on wax, and then start gigging.
So I've just recently started kind of reaching out and kind of finding other drummers and stuff like that. And I'll say I was going to see this other band. It was Karamia's band, and Rom and company, and they're just great. And then you just kind of came up. So, well, of course, I had like the best seat in the house.
Yeah,
not a whole lot of seats.
Yeah, you were
at the
hogging that whole table.
I was.
You're spread out, man, like a drummer.
That's right. It was my domain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was on my throne.
Uh-huh.
But you didn't shy away. You were like, hey, no, there's the seat right there.
Yeah.
He's clearly just, jamming out, hogging the seat. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then found out, lo and behold, you play drums and
Mm-hmm.
hit it off. And then.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And then I invited you to be on the podcast, and you were like,
Yeah.
absolutely, let's do it.
It's my pleasure, man. This is it's been a great time. I want to, if you can, I don't know if you know Phil Bronson or not.
I don't.
Okay, if you can find this guy,
Okay.
he's a good one to reach out to.
Okay.
He's as far as like some of my favorite drummers in town. Like,
Okay.
definitely give a shout out to Phil Bronson. Played with Siamese Sound Club,
Okay.
and that's
Got the
with
poster up.
yeah,
on
that's
the
with Karamia and Simon George, and one of the sickest trios that that have just been out there running residency at Five Walnut forever.
Uh-huh.
Until Phil left. I think he went to play on cruise ships or something. I don't know for sure, but one of my favorite drummers.
Nice.
Just got to give a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me more about like that relationship. Like.
I just, I would come see them frequently, and it was almost like every time I saw him, it was like a free drum lesson.
Oh wow.
You kind of just sit there and you can hyper focus on his technique and his style, really. But he's just a fascinating drummer to watch from a drummer's perspective.
Yeah.
Something that's he was just one of those guys that always stood out as
Yeah.
just fascinating drummer to watch.
That just reminded me, like the way you were talking about how you can just pick those things up and learn by going to listen.
Yeah.
That's one of the things
Yeah.
I've been really trying to do a lot of more lately.
Nice.
Let's go to those places, just listen, meet the drummer too, because some like Stanton Moore was just talking about this
Mm-hmm.
on his channel, I think on YouTube, and I'll like going out and maybe just buying the drummer a drink at set or at the end of the night or whatever, because sometimes you can pick up lessons if you're open to it. They might not talk specifically about technique, but there's something that it's like a vibe,
Right.
He's Stanton, right? So like
Right.
he is very attuned to like those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I think if you're paying attention, and as a musician and especially as a drummer, like that's like you had mentioned earlier, like if you're open and you just listen, right, like then you can pick up on those things.
Yeah. And lo and behold, sure enough, I think one of the last times I spoke to him, I was like, give me a nugget of anything that I can take and run with. He's like paradiddles, man.
Yeah.
He's like, go back to just start playing paradiddles again on your practice pad. Just play paradiddles, put an accent on every one of those, and just get really good at paradiddles.
Yeah.
And just mix it up as much as you can, but it's always going to be a paradiddle. Just do every incantation of a paradiddle that you can think of, and it's always going to be a paradiddle, but just keep doing those paradiddles.
Yeah.
And so I, a couple months ago, I was like, I'm going to start trying to do rudiments again. I think I'm going to try and go back to the technical aspects of drumming and just see if I can't, I don't know, flip the script on it.
Yeah.
And see if I can't get my paradiddles back.
Is that something you're writing out on your own? Or are you like referencing books or?
No, just sitting in front of the TV when I should be like lifting weights or exercising or something. I'm gonna just get my flam tap paradiddles down and
different exercises.
Yeah, just go back to my rudiments. I think. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What outside of like drumming and that kind of thing do you do that also helps like support the drumming or
Oh man, table tennis.
Okay.
Crossword puzzles.
There's a rhythm to table tennis.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. It's a real special sport. Yeah. Crossword puzzles. I just fucking love them.
Yeah. You got a game night tonight, I think, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna try and play some poker.
Yeah,
I figure. Yeah, it's a good way to lose some money. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I don't play cards, but it's something to do to mix things up a little bit. And
nice.
Get out there and have some fun.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice, Jacob. Well, thanks so much for sitting down with me.
Yeah. Thank you too, Joel. Yeah, check out Shorty Can't Eat Books. We've got some fun little music videos on YouTube, and then we're on Spotify and Bandcamp.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
I found y'all there.
yeah.
Your songs are tight and groove.
Thank you. Thank
They're
you.
really good songs.
Shout out
all
to
around.
Kevin Boggs too for recording us. He's our favorite guy to work with when it comes to recording, and he's very talented.
Where do you find him?
He's with a band called Fashion Bath, but also Doc Aquatic. Got his own studio to record in, and yeah, it's a treat working with him. He's
Nice.
just great ears.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it sounds good, and it's good playing too.
Yeah,
No
thank you.
doubt. I
Thank
can't
you.
wait. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all.
Yeah, man, our shows are a hoot.
Yeah, man, I can't wait.
Yeah, we play for charity too. So whenever we get a chance to play, we donate all the proceeds to a different charity. Yeah,
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Cool, man.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, and man, yeah, we'll look forward to hearing more from you, and yeah, I'll see you around
cool.
at some of these shows.
Yeah, thanks, Joel.
All right, man.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care.
Yep.